with the ability to heal police units just like a medic. Their resilience will be determined on the difficulty level and any respective crime spree modifiers in play. Now that we have a practical understanding of how medics function, what threat do they pose to your team, and how can we best mitigate them? As we've previously established, medics are not a primary threat to players in most cases, and their AI is programmed for them to be far less aggressive than other police units, but their ability to heal enemies instantly can have dangerous results. This is especially true when fighting against bulldozers, as their high durability and damage output make them a big enough threat as is. Killing a full-strength bulldozer, especially on Death Wish and Death Sentence, can require a large amount of ammo, and a medic can further bleed into your ammo supply by healing them. Unfortunately, the medic's docile AI programming will often have them hiding behind walls, shields, or other police units. This means that they can often keep healing enemies unassailed from you and your crew. There are, thankfully, a couple of simple ways.
Literally, look at this.
The first and
More here.
easiest is
Look
to
the way this
simply wait
detonates.
for the medic to reposition and expose himself. While they are a bit tougher than basic police units, they're still fragile enough to be killed rather quickly.
I don't know.
You could also use a sniper paired with the gray skill to deal damage to him indirectly. On higher difficulties, this
Wait, is that
be
grenade?
enough to kill him outright without using Berserker or a Thanatos, but a few rounds into a cluster of police units should be more than enough to neutralize
You
him.
grenaded yourself.
The third option is to use explosives or throwables to incapacitate, stun, or kill the medic. This is probably the safest method of dealing with medics in a scenario devoid of context, unless the medic decides to park his neon ass on a group of hostages. Being proactive and aggressive can also be an effective method of eliminating cowering medics, but is a risky move as it will likely expose you to return fire from his comrades. I would not advise this on Death Wish and Death Sentence if you can help it. Exposed medics should almost always be a priority target, especially in the presence of bulldozers for reasons we previously discussed. Cloakers and tasers within striking distance are of equal threat, but they may be revived by a nearby medic, since the medic tends to prioritize healing special units over the rank-and-file police. Medic bulldozers are an extreme threat and should be eliminated as soon as possible, as not only will they heal police units, but they can also dish out an incredible amount of punishment. Thankfully, they tend to be much more aggressive than your typical medic, so isolating them from other medics and felling them shouldn't be much more difficult than with other bulldozers. Some good weapons for neutralizing and mitigating medics include sniper rifles, grenade and rocket launchers, and shotguns. Sniper rifles and shotguns can typically kill medics with a single shot with the right skills and mods. The gray skill also improves the ammo economy of snipers, allowing you to hit nearby enemies. Unlike the taser, there really doesn't exist any skills that help you directly combat medics other than high value target, which will increase damage against highlighted special enemies. The threat level of the medic doesn't warrant a high degree of specialization either, but skills like Berserker, Overkill, Craze, and High Value Target can all dramatically improve your general damage dealing capabilities. The medic's voice lines are a good indicator of his location and presence in general. His voice is much less distorted than other police units, and his bright red and white uniform makes him stand out compared to his peers. This is especially true on Death Sentence, as the SEAL team's color scheme is fairly dark. Keep your eyes peeled too for the green outlines, as they are a telltale sign of a medic healing a fellow officer. Sometimes you may not be able to directly observe the location of a medic, but using context clues and a little deduction can usually give you a good idea of where a medic is hiding. Overall, the medic is a rather minor threat to you and your crew, but can be a nuisance and a drain on your ammo bags if they are left unchecked. Again, keep your eyes peeled for them, and their impact on you should be minimal. Except for medic dozers, those are always going to be a headache. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on the medic in the comments below. I have opened up my Discord server to everyone, so if you want to join, there is a link in the video description. I have also enabled the join button on my channel, so if you are interested in supporting me and my work, feel free to check it out. Join me next time when we take a look at Captain Winters and his phalanx, but until then, happy hunting.
Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Yep. I think I'm good for regular game now.
Although armed standoffs with the police are quite rare, they require decisive and forceful action, reaching, clearing, and neutralizing the threat, all critical components of any police assault. Hello and welcome. In this video, we dive into the strategy, mechanics, and important takeaways regarding police assaults in Payday 2. Police assaults are often the most intense portions of any heist, occurring once law enforcement has been made aware of your presence, and will occur in both stealth and loud. Once the alarm has been sounded, police will perform 4 tasks in a cyclical format: recon, reinforce, assault, and hide cloakers. Before we talk about the individual phases, it's important to understand 2 underlying mechanics that determine the length and difficulty of assault waves. The first, being known as diff, not to be confused with heist difficulty, raises dynamically based on the heist. It starts at 0% and increases to 50% shortly after the alarm has been sounded. Once the first assault wave hits, it will typically be at 75%, increasing and remaining at 100% once the second assault wave hits. Changes in difficulty can be usually heard from Bane, suggesting tougher units are inbound. Diff level will determine the amount of police that spawn during an assault wave and how many can simultaneously be spawned in. However, this will be covered later when we discuss the assault itself. The next mechanic is known as drama, and is a general measure of how intense the assault is. It will increase as the police begin to take control of the situation. Like diff, it will start off at 0% and can increase to 100%. Unlike diff, however, it decays at a constant rate of 3.33% per second. Increases in drama will occur when police down or tase a criminal, take a criminal into custody, or deal damage to a criminal. Above 95% drama, the game can skip build and anticipation subphases, which will be covered later. Below 25%, the assault will go from fade to regroup, and below 10%, the assault will skip regroup altogether. The first major phase, recon, will bring in first responders, typically patrol officers, followed by a limited amount of lighter SWAT units. Diff will be raised above 0% after a delay of 30 seconds to 2 minutes, in which no assault waves can occur. Recon will only occur if there are bagged loot items or civilians spawned in the field of play, whether they be cable tied or not. These units will retire once the assault wave begins, ignoring players and objectives that they are not currently engaged with. The next major phase is reinforcement, in which police assemble an assault force at specified reinforcement locations that are not fully manned. If a location has too many units, they retire the largest group of units at the location. Typically, these locations are strategically in
Well, I just jumped onto a dude's head.
forcing you to deal with said enemies when completing objectives. The next and most critical phase is the actual assault phase. In this phase, police units can and will continue to spawn from a spawn pool that is determined by the number of players and bots in full control, diff, and heist difficulty. In addition, there's also a limit on the amount of police that can be spawned in total, which also depends on the previously mentioned factors. Charts 1A and 1B display the amount of police that can be in play and the total spawn pool for an assault wave, respectively. It's important to note that scripted enemies, such as the Bulldozer in the control room and the Hoxton breakout heist, Day 1, do not count towards any hard limits on police spawns. Spawn pools are also adjusted every 2 seconds to account for any changes, meaning difficulty can change as players shift in and out of custody. Assault phases themselves also have 5 subphases: anticipation, build, sustain, fade, and regroup. Anticipation lasts 30 seconds with no hostages,
Bye.
60 seconds with at least 1 hostage, almost overkill, and 40 seconds with at least 1 hostage, mayhem, and above. During this phase, the assault force will not attempt to engage, and will pull back if players make contact with them, and they will also not use smoke or flashbang grenades. Build lasts 35 seconds and functions identical to Sustain. However, it will be skipped with drama level above 95%. Sustain will last anywhere from 40 seconds to 208 seconds, depending on the diff level and the number of players, seen on chart 2A. During this phase and build, the use of flashbangs and smoke grenades is permitted. Fade lasts a minimum of 5 seconds with no enemy spawns allowed. It will end when these two conditions are met. Fade has lasted 355 seconds, or there are less than 7 enemies alive and not retiring, and drama level is below 25%. Once this has been met, the closest crew member to you will signal the police retreating. The assault will then stop once there are less than 4 enemies and the drama is still below 25%. Regroup is the final sub-phase of an assault, but will end if drama is below 10%. No enemies will spawn, and all assault groups will retire. Trading hostages cannot be done after the anticipation subphase, but is enabled once more once regroup subphase ends. Once the assault ends, recon units will begin entering the field, and a new assault will commence after a delay that will end at dip level and the high step pushing seen on chart 2B. During the assault phase. websites playing Flash games. I have fond memories of sites like Congregate, Nitro, Cool Math Games, and Fargo. Each of these have their own personal identity and catalog of games. Some good, some bad, and some just kinda strange. Today we'll be playing these games and pitting them against each other to determine which game is truly the best. As you may have heard, Adobe is ceasing support for Flash Player at the end of the year, so I figured I would make this video before this chunk of our history is erased. Keep in mind, this list is 100% objective fact and cannot be argued with. Anyway, let us begin. We'll start our journey with D tier, because as we all know, low-end mediocrity is far worse than abject failure. We begin our journey with a true classic, Bloxaurs. Probably a good game, but, simply put, this game. It really puts into perspective just how little functional brain cells I actually have. Yeah, sure, the game is probably good, but oh my god, just get in the hole! Roll this rectangle just guys, this hole right here. He doesn't fit horizontally, so you gotta roll him in vertically. Dude, just get in the fuck! Every level gets harder, and every waking minute I spend decreases my IQ by several points. DTM, trap, don't ever talk to me again. Okay, moving on, we have Bubble Trouble. Bubble Trouble. Or shoot bubbles. Bubbles split into 2 more bubbles. Shoot more bubbles. Thrilling. Once again, I find myself utterly incapable of predicting the path of a bouncing bubble. What? The first few levels are fairly easy, but then... This game also features a 2-player mode designed to instill as much hatred for your fellow man as possible. Yeah! You keep on... This game fucking sucks. Get out.
Secure the bomb. Deploying sensor.
Let's go.
What?
Gonna leave.
Oh, right. It's, yeah, I forgot. I forgot that one has, school